As we jump on into the action, in the bottom left-hand side, our Red Protoss player from Triumphant Song Gaming. We've got one best of 7 left for you guys today. In the bottom left, our Red Protoss player is Nice, taking on the Blue Zerg. In the top right, Ragnarok. As we get this set up and ready to roll. So setting this up, getting this going, and having a look to see what is going to happen. Probe wandering across towards the upper right side. Have a look to see what is going to happen over the next couple of moments. As we continue our Week 3, Day 1 action of the China Team Championship. If you're just tuning in or maybe you're watching this one on YouTube, hello, how are you doing? Good to have you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel. The China VODs do really badly, so it'd be nice to see them do a bit better. And if you're in the stream, hit that follow button. Of course, when we're going live with more StarCraft in the future, we have StarCraft planned pretty much every day. We've got like loads of StarCraft being set up at the moment, so lots and lots of games, lots and lots of action currently going on. Which is awesome, of course, which is really, really awesome, of course, as we do see Cybercore and a Nexus dropping down, spawn pool, and a hatchery dropping in from Ragnarok across the map as well, so a little bit of setup here at the moment, as we do see this drone is going to chase this probe, which is going to have to go on a bit of a run. Drone's just like, let me have my third hatchery. Don't do this to me, dude. Okay, I'll give it up. Fine. I get it. I get it. You know, all I wanted was I saved up for a house, and I was finally ready to invest, and now, you know, they've just blown it on a couple of queens and a few lings, and I just have to go back to work for the next 20 years until I can afford it. It's just insane. Poor drone, man. All he wanted was a dream. This drone just wants a dream as well. He's also trying to move out, and he's not going to have a great time either. I'm also blocked here. Oh, no, he is going to get it down. So the third hatchery in the center of the map. Immediately, maybe kind of brings some aggressive ideas to your mind, as that is a fast robo from Nice as well. So Nice is not afraid in Pvs either. Throw out the very aggressive strategies, the big gateway attacks, the robo all-ins. Let's see what this develops into over the next few moments. Obviously, with the robo first, you are very possibly going to go into like a couple of immortals and sentries, and then the question just becomes, do you take your natural gases? Do you set up probes for the third base? Or are you really just going to add up to 7 gateways here? I like this from Nice, just setting up over on the side with this probe, just scouting for these minerals. Just making sure they're not being mined out so that Ragnarok doesn't go for some kind of an interesting, funky little link flood. I mean, these are kind of hard to mine through, 10 minerals at a time, but, you know, if there's some kind of weird proxy hatch or something, maybe. I feel at this stage you're kind of pretty safe. May just be worth dropping the next pylon over here and pulling that probe back to mining, because obviously as that probe patrols, it is losing mining time, which is, of course, quite important to keep in mind. So the War Prism pops out, straight away an Immortal as a follow-up. 34 probes at the moment, but Nice is just supply blocked. We'll see if he goes anywhere beyond that as his Immortal continues to Corona Boost, because this is the sort of stage where we are looking to see whether this is just going to be like a big 2-base attack, or whether he has got intentions of making more of a macro attempt in this one. Extra gateways, so there's the idea already being sold. It's the lack of gases over here, it's the fact that the probes stopped being produced. It sells the idea of this is going to be a 2-base all-in, so there you go, 4 extra gates on the way up. We do see the Stalker over here, also going to be good to pick off this Overlord. This is really, really nice, pushing this Overlord away down to the bottom side of the map. So we're pushed away down there. There's 4 more gates on the way up. Adept, a couple of sentries coming forwards as well. Zerglings from Ragnarok are going to be pushed away out into the center, so Ragnarok getting pushed into the top right-hand side. Roaches, Lings, and Overlord, Spinecrawler 2 continue to come into position here as we do see this army from Nice pressing forwards, and, well, 3 Adepts, 4 Adepts, a few sentries, just 1 Immortal. It's a very quick push. Ragnarok has cut drones at 41, has started up his production, Spinecrawler on the third base. Things are going to run into this pretty quickly. Force Fields try and keep the Roaches at bay. Just been too bad at first. The problem is that War Prism cannot get a warp in because the Queen target fire is good. And this has gone very badly for Nice. Not getting the warp in is really bad. He's got so many minerals to spend, and he isn't able to spend any of them now. I mean, he's going to try and warp in a bunch of Zards, but he's already missing the Force Field, which would have been very useful. You know, this Immortal is obviously kind of just going to be on its own, so it's not going to be that successful all said and done. And yeah, it kind of feels like this one is kind of going down the gutter already here for Nice, unfortunately. pulls the way out over the right-hand side there. Those Zealots of Nice coming back down to the bottom left as the Immortal drops off and gets a couple Crypt Tumors, but transitioning in towards now a Twilight Council and 5.5-minute gases. It's so tough because you're just going to have so little to really work with. Even the Zerglings come in for us around on Zealots. I mean, kill these first wave of Zealots and then back away probably. Yeah, I mean, just keeps the army supply low. And honestly, we're kind of at a point where this Roach Ravager force could probably go across the map. And you can see Ragnarok is still just making units. Allaire as well, probably just for Roach speed. He's just going to commit to the attack. He is just going to go and attack, and obviously, fingers crossed, is hoping for the kill here is Nice. Now, obviously, this looks pretty lackluster, but it's one of those attacks where if you get in the wrong spot, if you get, if it goes wrong right away, it's very difficult to recover properly, as we see the Lings and Ravagers moving up here, and Zealots are taking quite a bit of damage. Corrosive Bowels all over the shop there as Immortals try and bring themselves forward. Zerglings continue to fight a few more Lings from the top side as well. Yeah, the Zealots are actually doing much better than I thought they would, actually, right away. Ravagers continue to carry backwards. A few more units reinforced, and Ragnarok has started to build some extra drones. I mean, in the end, the Ravager count is still very good, right? So, a few Lings in front to tank, and they will continue to chase. And now they can Corrosive Bow down these pylons, which obviously shuts down some of the production and starts to maybe give access to the base here as well. Good Corrosive Bows on the Warping, and Zealots. Units that are Warping in obviously can't dodge away from those bows, so... Well, there's a third Immortal showing up, which might be just a little bit too much. The Warp Prism still here to micro as well. Corrosive Bows on that Immortal in the front there, and Ravager's now doing damage to the gateways at the front rather than anywhere else. He has kind of stopped producing. Oh, the Warp Prism just flew into its own death right there, into those Corrosive Bows. That's a shame. At least there's no Immortals inside of it, as we are going to be seeing. Well, Nice is down like half the supply. Ragnarok starting the drones, getting to a good work count. Now going back into... He just added on like 10 workers, and now he's like, okay, now I'll keep making Ling Roach because I've got a bit more economy off of it, and obviously things haven't exactly gone well for Nice back at home. While he didn't die, he didn't exactly stop all the incoming damage, and he definitely did lose a pretty substantial amount of units there right from the get-go. So the sentries and Immortals gathering at the front, a few more Zealots warping in as well. So we'll be seeing 3 more gateways on the way out as we see the Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers down to the bottom side. And we'll start pressing forwards here, and a couple Corrosive Bows dropping. Ooh, 2 sentries going down pretty much right away. And Roach Ravager continue to press up this ramp. We'll see that Zealot picked off as well. More Corrosive Bows is going to be seeing this army is pretty darn dangerous at the moment. Ragnarok doing a lot to help out with this, as we are going to see the Zealots going down. The Immortal in some trouble there. The sentries will drop, and there's just too many Ravagers at this stage. There is no real way you defend this. I mean, the Warp Prism will come in and do some cube micro and so on, but, well, I mean, for Immortals, never underestimate the power of Immortals, guys. The problem is, again, you might defend this wave, but do you win the war? No, it's kind of the answer to that one. Is the extra Roaches showing up, some Zerglings too. The things are really nice, obviously tanking the Immortal shots for the Roaches, etc. Takes away damage from those much chunkier, more expensive units. Again, Immortals continue to take shots. Really good micro from Nice. I mean, really saving Immortals until the very, very end here. But again, in the very, very end, it's not going to be enough, and now he's down to 2 Immortals from the 4 he originally had. Ragnarok still just can't quite end the game as the Roach Ravager pushed away once again back over to the right-hand side. 5 more Ravagers on the way up again, 12 more Zerglings in production. Sentries and Immortals gathering up on the left, and, well, here we go. Ling Roach Ravager going to go darting forwards again. Lings around up to the top side as we do see the Immortals. Having a little bit of a bounce around for a moment or two. Zealot and a sentry coming out as well, and just going to be seeing the Roaches and Ravagers still looking to try and press forwards into this. The Lings come in from the other side. I mean, every time we see a fight, it just feels like there's so much more ready to go this time from Ragnarok, and again, Nice will hold on as best he can, but the reality of this game is it ended when his first push didn't really work out at all. And Ragnarok can very successfully just continue being aggressive here. I mean, there's no third base for the Frost player, so he doesn't have to go beyond the 51 drones. It's just those Immortals left as Ragnarok will take game number 1. See what happens here. Sorry for the delays again. We're having some issues with the Battle.net friends list today, and that means that joining into games is a bit slower, so it's just taking a little while longer to get everybody into the games at the moment. So, that's why we have just a little bit of an extra delay, as we do have to the bottom right-hand side. A blue Protoss player sending that first probe across the map early to try and block the hatchery and to cause some chaos. This is nice from Triumphant Song Gaming. Up against the red Zerg player to the top left-hand side from Chivo SC. Ragnarok up 1-0, and if he wins this, it's kind of the expectation. He wins this series 2-0, then probably solo wins the next 2 maps, puts them at 2-2. When it comes down to Sue versus Hero for the decider matches. If it goes 1-1, we get a tiebreaker where probably we see Solo versus Ragnarok, I would say. Ragnarok has definitely been the stronger player lately. So let's see this probe wandering around. Out the front, just moving between the third and the natural position. Hey, I forgot I subs as Joey Pants do. Good to see you spamming those emotes, dude. If you guys do enjoy the stream, subscribing is a great way to support, and don't forget, it's September. We've not seen a lot of action off of September, honestly. Everyone's really hyped about it being half-price subs on other channels, but here people are just like, weh, you know what, we don't want to sub. So if you do enjoy the stream, do consider sub, and it goes a long way, as we do just have a couple moments of PvZ to sort of sit through here on Ephemeron. It is an interesting map. I mean, he forces this base away because of this early probe. So a couple of Adepts early could obviously be very disruptive to the Zerg, because that's kind of a large distance to defend 2 different locations, right? And obviously the Adepts do have that mobility where the, where the Zerg doesn't really have as much mobility. As you do see, the Queen's on the way up. Again, this is Nice's map pick, so it is his choice to try and find a way to make something work here. We're seeing the Adept on the way out of the Warp Gate, and just going to be seeing the Link Speed on the way up. So again, that Link Speed up and running, a bunch more Zerglings on the way out, and Stargate is building here from Nice. So again, that Stargate up and running, that's going to be his initial choice. And again, just going to be seeing the Adept continuing up to the top left-hand side, and Link Speed is about halfway done, so Link Speed halfway along at the moment, and that just means we've got Slowlings to defend this, and this will at least force a few Zerglings as the natural hatchery starts on up. This Adept will not commit in, just a couple too many Zerglings there. But again, it's forcing units, and that gives Nice the chance to probe up, while Ragnarok makes sure he's very safe. And he has to have 4 Lings here, 4 Lings in the main. That's the difference, right? Compared to if this was just natural in main, he'd probably just be on 6 Lings and that's it. Now he's on 10 Lings, so nice difference. And gets a drone kill here, really nice, and shades out alive, so really good opener. There's one Zergling across the map too, having a little bit of a scout in the main, does get to see the Stargate. Good opener here from Ragnarok in terms of scouting, but again, really like how Nice has been able to set up the early few moments of this PvZ. I miss King's Cove, says AZ in the chat. Dude, I do not miss King's Cove, because the problem with King's Cove was just that we had so many... It was just the map where you just knew there was going to be like a long stalemated game, right? And it was just like, while those games were cool, I'd much rather see those games kind of develop from cool mid-games rather than just the mid-games where it's like, oh, I literally can't attack, so we have to go late game. It just felt like we saw, while it was cool to see those late game games, it's always nice to see them develop more naturally. And we also just saw it like every time King's Cove came up, because it's the best way to play. Like, there was no better way to play, and I just feel like King's Cove kind of forced the hand of people a little bit too much, perhaps. As you do see this Oracle coming over the left-hand side. Zerglings, a couple of Overlords on the way out. This Oracle from Nice going to come around the left as well. Going to set up a Stasis Ward here, and Queen and the drone pulling away quite nicely. That is just going to be a Zergling court, so not really much achieved yet, as we do see more Phoenix being made. So probably going up to 5, 6 Phoenix here. And with the idea of just using those as kind of a continued harassment tool throughout the game. Okay, second Stargate. So we're actually going to see a lot of Phoenix here. So you're just going to be seeing the Zergling pressing forward. 16 more Lings on the way out. Lair about halfway done. So a bunch of Lings coming in at the moment. We do see these few overlords continuing up on the third base, so getting that up and rolling here. Phoenix continuing to pop out. There's going to be another one out in a second then, as we do see Adepts able to pick off another Zergling. Getting control of the map as Oracle is going to go after a couple of drones here, so getting some damage done as we do see 16 more Lings in production. And that lair from Ragnarok about to complete. So he is kind of very Ling heavy at the moment. There's obviously quite a few Adepts. No Resonating Glaives with this, which might be the follow-up when he does invest into Twilight Council if he wants to keep making these Adepts, and he is still warping more in. 10 Roaches on the way out. I mean, this is getting very aggressive here at this point from Ragnarok, and against double Stargate Phoenix, the Phoenix are just going to struggle to lift up this many Zerglings, so honestly, he might want to start building some Oracles even. And he has no third base, so there is nothing for Ragnarok to deny over there at least. The Phoenix are going to go across the map, but with the Roaches pushing as well, the Phoenix have to be careful not to commit too much onto drones, because if they don't have the energy to lift up Roaches, there is really not much to defend over here. There really, really is not. So let's pressing forwards again. We do see the Phoenix just starting to harass, and he will lose one of them. Another one got pretty low. Obviously, quite a few drones starting to drop down. Lings and Roaches starting to press forwards. I mean, that Ragnarok is already just going into more Queens, more drones, so let's see what he can do. This is a lot of Adepts. I mean, maybe this is just going to be enough to hold off anyways. The Phoenix have recalled back. I was just wondering if they'd all died there, because I only saw 2 of them flying back, but the Phoenix coming back means they can obviously come and start lifting up these Roaches, and that just guarantees you kills, and overall, it feels like it went pretty well for Nice. Yes, he's still not on a third base, but he's got a hell of a lot of Adepts to start taking that third whiff. He's going to clean up all of these Roaches. So more and more of these Roaches continue to drop down at the moment. We see the Zerglings out over to the left, and the Forge on the way up from Nice in this main base too. So again, that Forge up and running. Queen's starting to push out the damage onto the Phoenix there. Sporkle are going to burrow underneath the Phoenix as well, and doing a pretty good job of this right now. A couple of Queens going down. Phoenix actually taking some losses though. I mean, the double Spore Crawler here is really nice, and actually I think Nice not really respecting the double Spore Crawler enough. That's going to be another dead Phoenix, so the idea of the Phoenix is meant to be efficiency, so when you're actually losing Phoenix, you can see it's only actually a 600 resource difference. 6 Phoenix going down already, and I mean, the thing is, though, the one thing you got to remember is that Ragnarok did cut a lot of drones initially to be aggressive, but Nice is also still on the no third base, right? He's only just expanding now, so this is actually crazy. It's a lot of Overlords, and I love the Phoenix just pulling back a couple at a time. This time he will lose 1 as he darts by. He gets hit on the main base as well, loses 2. Gets the Queen here as well, loses 3 Phoenix. Just going for more Overlords. I mean, Ragnarok is hugely supply blocked. Meanwhile, there has been some Zergling-based fights and Roaches too, but it's just too many Adepts. The Adepts will continue to hold on at the same time with all of this. And again, Ragnarok massively supply blocked, is way down on army supply. Starting to make Hydras. I do just worry about the fact that we do not see any sort of upgrade for those poor Adepts. They don't even have +1 attack, so they are just not really... imagine they had Resonating Glaives, right? They'd be so much better than they are at the moment. Phoenix are going to lift up the Ling. A few of the Roaches getting lifted up as well. 12 more Hydras on the way out. Groove Spine's coming in for that Hydralisk range, so looking to pick up on there a little bit as well at the moment, as we do see the Phoenix up to the top side. Spores, Hydras obviously will start to deal some damage, dish some out. We see an Overlord going down too. A couple extra drones starting to go down. Hydra picked off, Queen in some trouble as well, taken down pretty quickly there. 4 drones killed at the moment. So we are going to see the Hydras again chasing these Phoenix of Nice away up to the top side. That's a recall. We will keep all but one of the Phoenix alive there as he gets out. Really like what Nice has done in the last few minutes. I just worry about his follow-up, because he's still just making Phoenix. Finally, Resonating Glaives on the way, but is that just too late almost? Because I feel like if he was attacking like a minute ago, right now, he's in a great spot. By the time he has Glaives, he is going to be attacking into Ling Bane Hydra with full force upgrades. You know, +1 missiles, Baneling speed, muscular augments for the Hydra speed too. It just feels at that point it might already be a bit too late. Well, I guess we shall see shortly, because resources lost is about 1,500 in favor of Nice. But if we look at the income tab, you can see Ragnarok has had that little mountain of income advantage build up. And that was just because he really did drone quite heavily, up to about 70 workers before the big supply block kicked in. Supply block to gain right now, waiting on Overlords to finish once more. He's lost, what, 14 Overlords and an Overseer this game, so you can kind of see why he's been struggling with the supply blocks. 5, 6, 7 workers going down. A job well done there, as we're going to be seeing a Nidus network on the bottom left-hand side. So here we go, the aggression really building up now from Ragnarok. Equal army supplies going into this. The important part is having the Phoenix part of the fight, because obviously they count towards the army supply, so you really need those to join in with this, as we see the first 8 Banelings morphing in. Resonating Glaives is not far from finishing here. And Depths are going to shade forward, see what is perhaps up. Looking at the army, obviously gives him the vision. He's going to split, he's going to commit! Oh my god, well, goes to the Banelings, go off over on the right side. The Phoenix are going to lift up a lot of these Hydras. Maybe too many. I mean, they are obviously dealing damage as well. Extra Banelings finished up, and the Adepts get blown up, but Nice has Phoenix left over. Extra Adepts coming out. Now there's no more Banelings. Maybe too many Hydras, though, and the Phoenix don't really have the energy to go again. Oh, that was a very risky commitment to the fight, as we see Hydras and Ling's going to jump on this Nexus, which has taken a bit more damage. We see the Hydras starting to get shot down. Zergling's still running over. The Adepts firing away to pick off more of these Zerglings as well. And it looks as though Ragnarok will make this work. Ah, this was so close to being amazing for TSG. But Ragnarok will pick best of 7. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran from Chivo is Expect. The Taiwanese player, absolutely the underdog coming into this couple of games. In the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Solar from Triumphant Song Gaming, who's expected to tie up this series and to bring it down to Su Hero, to see what is going to happen. Thank you so much, first of all, to Superior Hands, who came in with the 5-month resub. Says, keep up the great content. I sure will, buddy. Thank you so much for the 5 months. And Sipship1, a gifted sub yesterday, a gifted sub today for 8 in total. Gifts out to Faux Shizzle. Welcome to the Wardy family. Don't forget, you now have access to Wardy emotes. You now have access to the subscriber channel on Discord, which will give you those beautiful, beautiful replay packs. And we'll have a new replay pack coming up in the next couple of days. You'll also get access to the previous replay packs too. They are amazing replay packs, some of the best in the industry. Some say that the reason GSL doesn't release replay packs is they're just embarrassed that they're so poor in comparison to the Wardy TV replay packs. That might not be true, but one could pretend. In fairness, we do have a lot of GSL level players in our replay packs. Obviously, all the China Team Championship players. Wardy TV Summer Championship has players such as Gumiho, Dream, Ragnarok. So a lot of GSL level players. Trap, we've got replays from him too. So you know, check it out. Early game here for Winter's Gate, map number 1 between Solo and Expect, map 3 of this series. And again, you got to give Solo the huge advantage in this. I mean, Expect has not really looked amazing in his games up until this point. Always happy to see him come out though, and happy to see what he can bring, but he's had pretty tough draws, and you know, so far his draws have gone that way. He's not been like Nice, I feel, who's had moments of like, oh my god, he could do this, or you know, Masaki, who's shown us results this season as well. So definitely has been one of the weaker Chinese, Taiwanese players up until this point, as we'll see if he can maybe pull off something of a miracle today. The problem is Solar is just so good at ZVT that you've got to look at this and just kind of shake your head and be like, I'm sorry, Expect, but I don't know what you expect, because it's going to be tough to make this work out, you know? And it's going to be really tough. I mean, there's a point where you've got to accept that it's just not even on Expect, really. It's just the fact that Solar is probably the toughest player on this team right now, and ZVT is one of Solar's best matchups at the moment. He looks so scary in it, so yeah, it's a really tough draw for an Expect, but Chivo did get the 2 maps from Ragnarok, which means that they are absolutely in this series, even if they lose these 2. Again, a 2-2 tie means that if Su or Hero wins 2-0, they will, of course, win the series for the team, but if it goes 1-1, we will get to that all-elusive ace match, which we've not really seen too much of here in Season 2. I think we had 1 ace match last week, and that was about it. So they've really been quite limited so far, which is kind of a bit surprising, I would say. Kind of a bit surprising, as we do see Link Speed, Newtez Carapace finishing up the Liberator on the way out of the starport. And again, those couple Hellions from Expect just hanging out in the center of the map. Wait to see what's going to be going on. A few more Lings, the Queen coming up, as we do see the Reaper. He's going to get picked off by those couple of Zerglings again. Hellions from Expect just moving around a little bit as well. The Queen's pressing forwards, and yeah, good little bit of back and forth right there as we do see the Liberator about to finish. Another Marine, Stimpak starting. A lot of setup right now as those Hellions pull back around to the center of the map, and a couple of Spore Crawlers will build up from Solar as well. So really just making sure he's defensive here early on. He should have a response to this Liberator. We're at that sort of stage where Expect's just going into, we talked about this, we saw Innovation doing it earlier, just very light harassment, Liberator and Hellions in towards a nice, not super fast 3cc, but a 3rd cc and a Stimpak pretty quickly. And just moving into that bio style, because Zergs nowadays are really investing a lot into Overlord speed early. And if they Overlord speed scout this, well, there's not much they do about it, they just play normally. But if they Overlord speed scout a Battlecruiser opening or a Hellbat attack, you're just not going to really get much done in the game. So because of that, Terrans are just saying, well, I guess we just kind of play straight up with some light harassment to try and slow the drones down, and that's just kind of where the ZVT meta currently lies, as that's a nice kill instantly on the Group 2 mounted spawns. I mean, 25 energy down the drain. Expect has been pretty good with these Hellions, hasn't been overly committed, as this Liberator didn't exactly pan out as he expected. Queen and a Spore Crawler shooting that down without a moment's notice, really. I mean, that's just not a good position to put your Queen, put the Liberator in at all, is it, really? So, not really too much of a surprise. The 4th and 5th barracks on the way up in the main base. Again, Hellions pressing forwards and continue to apply some pressure to the Queens and some of the crew spread. Marines will try and get that Overlord, but actually, okay, they will get it. I thought for a moment Solar kind of messed up the... Sorry, Expect kind of messed up the stutter step micro, and Solar was going to get away with that Overlord, but not quite, as he will go back in. He gets that creep teamer too. Again, it's nice to slow down the creep as much as you can. The more you slow down that creep spread, the better a time you're going to have as the game continues by. So, slowing that down, that creep, doing a good job of this so far, as we'll see a creep teamer going down, a second one picked off as well. First Hellion taken down as well, and the other Hellions heading out over to the right-hand side as 1-1 melee upgrades, 1-1 attack upgrades coming through. Zerglings continuing on out, and a few more Banelings coming in from Solar as well, so getting those Banelings set up to roll as we see, quite literally, the rolling upgrade centrifugal hooks coming in. And Solar's just continuing to play Ling Bane. No choice to go in towards any sort of lair tech just yet. And if it doesn't come up in the next minute or so, we really pretty much see the decision from Solar just to go in towards an infestation pit instead then, and go towards a hive and ultralisks and just sort of bypass the high risk / mutalisk stage of the game. And just play a straight up kind of pure Ling Bane, which gives you quite a quick tech into ultras. Obviously the difficulty becomes then it's a little bit harder to hold off those Terran pushes, and you have to play very counter-attack heavy, which Solar is already setting up to do in this. Third base is completely unprotected, as the Lings will already run in here. Warlock not even set up as a Ling drop heading to the main too, so this is really going to start trying to pull Expect apart a little bit. Lings trying to run in here. Marines are going to get themselves in that little bit of a choke point. Lings will start to drop in the main in a moment or two. Does not get that siege tank, so Solar not the best to drop run-bys down the third. So Lings in the main, that will start to be annoying as well. Pulls, SCVs away, forces some units to pull back already. And the next Ling run-by setting up to the third base as well. And I mean, reinforcements currently going in towards the main, etc. And also out to the center of the map. So the third base is once again very open for attack. So Solar comes straight in there, straight to the mineral line. And again, Expect just has to run the heck away. He's really not having a great time against this at the moment. I mean, so many depots needed on this map actually to wall off here, wall off over there, maybe even wall off here later in the game, as we are going to be seeing again, depots will be repaired. Baneling's now dropping off in this mineral line. Expect is very good at pulling his workers away in plenty of time to minimize damage. But obviously still there's just so many units coming in. And now Solar's going to come in from the bottom right side as well to take the fight. The tank's unsieged. Banelings will try and find as many Marines as possible here, as honestly this is a cleanup. Solar crushes in from two angles and on creep spread as well. It's a fantastic fight from Solar. It was beautifully set up. It really takes advantage of distracting Expect around, and I liked what Expect was trying to do, but this really was just, despite only being 8.5 minutes long, a really masterful game from Solar. He had his composition, he had his style of play, he stuck to it, and he did everything right. He was never caught off guard, he was never in trouble of this big attack. He kept Expect busy enough that the attack in the center was never truly a threat there, so really well played by Solar here in this first game that he plays against Expect, and I mean, it's not over yet, some would say, but I feel like with this Ling Bane force fighting in towards a group of Marines that have no splash damage in them, it kind of starts to feel as though it might be a little bit over, kind of soon actually. Zerglings from Solar coming around the bottom side. Guess what? This is just such an amazing map for run-bys, especially when this depot wall isn't set up. I mean, in we go again, but this time there are Marines nearby. Solar will just be out of there. And again, just setting up more Banes. There is the Hive on the way as well, by the way. So we talked about it not going into Mutas or Hydras, and it's exactly the choice. Into the Hive, Ultra's Cavern should be the priority, as well as Adrenal Glands and 3 upgrades. Really power up the Ling Bane Ultra Force and just fight with that for the rest of the game, basically, as we are going to see. A few extra Banes continue to morph in, so a couple extra Banes running up to the top. More Ling Bane from Solar running around the right-hand side, and gonna... I mean, there's a Siege Tank Siege there, and that is going to scare Solar off a little bit. Just going to hold back until there's not so much defense in position, or maybe just bring these Banes back to the main army. Again, Solar's in no rush to end this game because he knows the damage he's done is going to keep the Terran at bay. He knows his creep spread is extremely comfortable. If anything, Solar attacking is the one thing that could lose him the game, because otherwise the Terran has to make something happen. And if the Terran doesn't make something happen, his Solar's position improves as he gets ultras and further upgrades. And obviously the Terran doesn't have a chance to get a fourth because Solar would be on that in an instant. That map control really quite significant for Solar, so does kind of look as though Solar is going to be finding a pretty good game number 3 win and putting TSG Triumphant Song Gaming Season 1 champions onto the scoreboard. There's 2 Medivacs from Expect heading up to the top right corner. Solar with an Overlord creeping up that top right side as well. Still some Zerglings running by and Expect along the top. Lings and Bane's going to continue to run around. A lot of Lings and Banes down at the bottom. Marines doing a lot of damage there right away as we do see those 2 Medivacs. We'll head in the main. Sorry guys, I got a couple of stutters here. Not sure what that's about, so apologies for that. Appreciate it. I'm seeing it on my end as well, so it's not the stream lagging or anything, it's just some game performance issues or so. Might just be the fact Solar's just got so much creep on the map. Anyways, there's a lot of Lings, and this time there is not the defense. While they hold the wall for a little while, the Lings will eventually break through, and that's a problem. Because now they're into the natural, the main doesn't get raised. I mean, there's no world in which that main depot should not have been raised, right? There is absolutely no way. This drop gets cleaned up. I mean, Lings are going to finish off this hold down supply at the front. There's Lings in the main. 35 workers dead. Solo doesn't even need a big fight. He just needs the run by to close. Huge in China. This league especially. Chinese fans love it. SC Boy is a huge part of the Chinese community, and they are kind of the reason they do so well in China. Is like it's crazy. They are huge. StarCraft does very well in China, and that's why they put on these tens of thousands of dollars events, offline finals, and all sorts. As we do have game number 4 starting up. To the bottom right side, our red Terran player, Expect from Chivo. Taking on the blue Zerg in the top left, Solar from TSG. I mean, it's so popular to the point where Chinese teams have literally gotten every single Korean player a team. There's not a teamless Korean player out there right now. Like, it's actually a problem. There are teams that want to join this league, and they can't join because there's literally not enough players to pick up to make a team. Like, they literally can't find any teamless players to put on their teams. That's how popular it is in China at the moment. They have picked up all of the players. It's crazy. It's actually kind of crazy when you think about it like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Like, the Chinese Team League would continue to grow if we just had more players. Like, it's actually ridiculous when you say it out loud, but that's the scenario we're in. What's up, CMG Backs, with the fresh new subscription. Thank you so much, taking advantage of that September deal, half price subs. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Wardy family. Good to have you on board. As we do set ourselves up into this one. You've seen the Reaper on the way out here from Expect. Going to be finishing that up in a couple moments' time to get out onto the map. The Overlord here from Solar coming across, and just pretty typical Hatch Gas Pool versus Reaper expansion opener on Disco Bloodbath. I told you guys we were going to talk a little bit about the Terran and the strength of the Terran play on this map. It's this line of rocks and buildings that are so good to push into the Zerg third with tanks behind here, etc. Makes it very pushable, and at the same time you take a third base out here, you defend this location and you defend your natural and third, so run-bys are nowhere near as popular on this map. Much harder to pull off. Even if you take the base here, easy wall off, easy blocks, so 4 bases comes up much easier as the Terran player too. and it's just a much better time. So Solar is unlikely to play, as he does lose a drone here. Really good play by Expect, gets the Reaper out on 1 hit point. He does already here kind of Expect just have a much better map to play on. Winter's Gate is awful for that kind of run-by play, and I wonder if Solar, because of that, may play something like Mutalisk. Mutalisk are great on this map because of the strength for tanks on this line here. So Mutas are absolutely a choice. If he doesn't play Mutas, I would expect him to play Hydras at the very least. Playing Ling Bane on this map just doesn't work because you just can't get enough run-bys off effectively enough to really make it work out. As we are going to be seeing this Reaper from Expect just hanging out the front. A Queen pressing forward is going to drop down a Creep Tumor. A couple Creep Tumors spreading forwards at the moment, as that's going to be a grenade, and Reaper is going to go after the Creep Tumor. We'll get it. That's nice. That's 25 energy down the drain. Expect's been pretty good early game, actually. I know he kind of fell apart last game to the run-bys, but his early game's good. He's paying attention to his Reaper, and that's unfortunate. He maybe should have pulled away a little sooner. Oh, he's going to get away. He's actually really good early game. Really good plays. And the Dancing Bear, he's just celebrating. That Reaper, he got out of there alive. Have a dance, Reaper. Take it to the dance floor. Have some steam. We are just going to be seeing the Hellions and the Reaper continue to press forwards here. Trying to get a Creep Tumor again, but will not quite make it. So a couple of Queens will be good to block this off and to turn that around. I mean, Solar's not afraid just yet. 8 Zerglings and a few Queens is all he needs at the moment. Reaper and the 4 Hellions on the side, and trying to see what they can do as Stimpack starting up from Expect. Again, that up and rolling. Factory lifts off and moves over to Attack Lab on the right side. Extra barracks will be dropping down. Again, Stimpack just coming in for the moment here. The extra barracks coming into play, and well, Queen production continuing, of course, from Solar. Those Queens going to be fantastic defensively in these early stages, so setting up for that as the Hellions and the Reaper coming down out into the center. Liberator is going to siege up, and well, that's going to be a nice reposition of the Spore Crawler. Expect is pretty good this time around. Last time the Liberator didn't really do much, as he goes for pretty much the same build this game as well. This time he was a bit more careful, making sure he repositions that Liberator and put it into a bit of a better spot to begin with as well. Obviously helped. Last time was controlling the Hellions and just kind of sieged up into a Queen and a Spore Crawler. Obviously that doesn't end well for you. Liberator still struggling to get up in towards the main base there. Hellions are still keeping those Queens at bay. That's a nice little grenade, pops the Queen back from building the Creep Tumor. And the upgrades are pretty similarly timed this time as well. There's the lair from Solar, so obviously the first order of business with that lair will be the Baneling speed. He needs to get the Baneling nest around now to get that though. But yeah, we'll absolutely be looking towards something along the lines of a... definitely looking to, towards the lines of some kind of Spire, I think, this time around. Expect is getting a couple siege tanks up, so this first push with 1-1 Stim combat shields is very good across here, and that's why these Zerglings are really making sure to, target fire down these rocks and really make some progress there. So Rock's taking quite a bit of damage as Hellions around the left, picking off a drone, picking off a Zergling. 1-1 melee upgrade still on the way up from Solar as well, as we'll see those Hellions from Expect back out into the center of the map. Putting back in, Reaper coming in as well, and just going to be seeing those Queens kept at bay. Armory about halfway done at the moment. 2 more barracks coming up. And there is the Liberator, the Marines, the tanks pressing out into the center. Jim is going to be spreading forwards as well, so pushing that out into the middle. As you see, I mean, again, these rocks are so important to clean up. And at first, when this map first came out, people never really cleaned up these rocks. It took a while for people to even really notice there was killable rocks there, but you can see Solar is absolutely a priority for him. I am very surprised he's just playing Ling Bane. I really, truly am. And I kind of hope that Expect shows us a little bit of why you can't play Ling Bane on this map and why it's hard for these run-bys to get off. Liberator back into the main. Good multi-prong here. Just needs those tanks to target fire Banelings, but it's a bit of a mess. The tanks should get the Banelings now, but there's too many Marines already being lost, unfortunately. The Liberator gets 6 kills in the main base, though, so it's still not a bad fight. It's just Expect could have done a bit better over here. The tanks, only one of them target fired the first set of Banelings, and that definitely hurt. He absolutely could have unsieged and saved those siege tanks as well with those medevacs, so that would have been something that would have worked out quite nicely too. As those Zerglings going to come in towards the main base, unloading here, and some of those SCVs starting to drop on down. It's going to be seeing the Baneland speed, going to be finishing up in a moment or two, and again, a few more Marines picking up some more Zerglings. So doing a pretty good job of that as Medivacs will unload. Just going to be getting set to try and fight once again as we do see the infestation pit. Going to be completing momentarily, so he really is just trying to play pure Ling Bane once more, but where are the run-bys, right? That's what was so good for Solo last game, and it's just not a thing here because it's so difficult to run by on this map. That Overlord creep is really nice. This SCV wanted to build a 4th base here already. Might just want to build it down over here now instead. It's a bit safe. You can fly it over when it's ready to you, and don't have to wait for that Overlord creep to dissipate, as we'll see a Baneling drop and getting initiated towards the main/natural. There's the Marine stepping in to take an Overlord down. Pop goes the Overlord. Marines load up and Medivac will pull over to the left-hand side. 2-2 upgrades coming in on the Evo Chambers. So setting that up here as we do see the Medivac again, ready to perhaps hop on in towards the main. Banelings do absolutely nothing in this main base. Good defense from Expect. Expect is playing well. I really think if Expect finds himself up against a weaker Zerg player, he has a very good time, and he really shows some impressive stuff, because right now this is impressive. It's just because he's playing someone as good as Solar. Solar's kind of still making him look as though he's a bit behind with the amount of creep spread there is, with the the drone count being good, just kind of comfortably going up into Hive Tech. I like what Expect is doing. It's just, it's so difficult to play against Solar. He is so good in this matchup right now, especially against Bio. He's just probably one of the best Zergs in CVT Bio gameplay at the moment. Nice little play with the Zergling there. Drilling Claws! Oh my god, Drilling Claws was like a second away from saving that Widowmine because there's not detection there. If Drilling Claws had finished, the Zergling wouldn't have been able to see the Burrowed Mine on the cooldown, so... As Marines press forwards, we will see another Overlord picked off. Tanks will siege and Expect pushing up at the same time. There's the run-by, so this base a little bit unprotected. Lings from the left side as well. Widowmines will start off with the defense there and do a pretty decent job. Ooh, nice lift up on the depot here. Is nice, is necessary. Marines dropping down in the natural expansion too. The Widowmine burrows up, and a good split away from Solar, paying attention to units down over there. At the same time, Expect is pushing, and he's trying to get in towards this 5th base. You know, he might be there. Tank sieged up on the low ground. Marines pressing forward, so you go. The Ling Bane starting to stream in towards it, and tank fire hits a couple of Banelings. Good target fire again on the siege tank. Is kind of what you want to see. You see one dropship heading across the left side with a group of Marines as well, so looking to get some damage done. Banes and Queens continuing down, and also the Lings coming in from the left-hand side, and the flank is beautiful from Solar to clean this up. It's kind of the problem. Expect kind of just stood out here a little too long without reinforcing, and these are the kind of fights where if you're out in the middle of nowhere, the flank has a lot of time to set up. They start going very bad very quickly, and once it goes bad, the momentum carries you heavily as the Zerg, and well, that's a good Widowmine shot, but there's just so much Ling Bane, and our Terran player is just completely on the run here now as the Lings will continue to chase, and suddenly a 50 supply difference has opened up. I wouldn't be upset as Expect with how I've played here. It's just truly you're up against one of the best Zerg players right now, and he has played a fantastic CVT, and he'll just start popping out. Expect there's no way he holds on to this. Solar is going to take game number 4. Tie the series up 2-2. Damn. God, you gotta feel a little bit for Expect though, man. Like I really felt like if this goes 1-1 between the two players, we go to the ace game. If this goes to a 2-0 on either side, the series is decided then and there. So, guys, I want to hear who you're cheering for in the chat right now. Are you cheering on Triumphant Song Gaming and their pink Protoss player in the bottom right, Hero? Or are you cheering on the blue Zerg player in the top left-hand side from Chivo, Sue? Game 5 of this best of 7 as we do see the Overlord of Sue just coming across down to the bottom right. Get this ready to start on up in the next few minutes. This is definitely, absolutely the highlight of this series. Hero and Sue could really deliver right now, I think. Could really give us something quite special to watch, I think. All said and done. building up here a little bit. Just going to see the Overlord heading down to the bottom right-hand side, and Gateway going to be finishing up at the front. Nexus is going to be on its way down in the natural. There's a couple more drones, the spawning pool coming into play. Hero has always been a much more kind of aggressive Protoss player, right? He's always been the player to kind of try and, you know, he's always tried to and, you know, see what's going on, and always been kind of the initiator in these PvZ matches, so I was intrigued. Let's see what's going to happen here. Overlord just coming down this right side. Couple more drones on the way out from Su as well. Third hatchery on the way down here as well. So getting that third hatch up and running. Cybercore is going to finish, and the warp gate on the way out. The Adept just Chrono Boost, and Nexus will finish up in the natural expansion in a few moments' time. As that Stargate again just continuing along for the moment, getting itself up and running there as the Overlord of Su down the left-hand side. Third hatchery going to be completing shortly. And the Stargate just about halfway done as the Adept from Hero shading out into the center of the map. Overlord from Su having a look to see what is happening as it moves in towards the main base. Flying through the natural there and up into the main. This one Adept of Hero continuing out towards the upper left-hand side, and just looking at me, he didn't really go across the map early at all, so he didn't look to block the hatchery or anything of Su. It's just kind of let Su kind of get by and, you know, get along with his game initially here without any real complications, without really throwing a spanner in the works, forcing hatcheries to not be on the natural and all the rest of it. It's pretty passive from Hero to start off, and he is going to go into multiple Phoenix, so we could be perhaps seeing once again a double Stargate Phoenix setup, but there's a Robo facility, so it's just going to be the 3 to 5 Phoenix this time around, some light pressure rather than building oracles, and then in towards with the Robo facility, of course, there's quite a few little bits and pieces you can do as well. There's Adept shading back towards the natural expansion as we do see our Phoenix from Hero is flying up to the top and is going to be heading in towards the main base. Phoenix taking quite a bit of damage. Queen is pretty quickly in there to turn this Phoenix away around the top as well. Robo facility is going to be finishing up in a moment or two, so that is going to be complete. And there's a couple extra probes on the way out, and the Phoenix continue to build as well. 4 Phoenix out right now. Like I said, 5 or so Phoenix is going to be pretty typical here. This Overlord. Okay, the Phoenix are just going to send themselves forward to refill, but he only sends 2 of them. Okay, he isn't trying to still hide further Phoenix. Yeah, obviously now Su knows about the Phoenix. Now, the Overlord still doesn't get the Scout, so his question will still become, is this kind of double Stargate Phoenix? Is there something else at play? He hasn't even seen the Robo at the front, which would be really nice for these Lings to get over to. Opening with a melee upgrade, that sets him up for Lingbane Hydra as the game goes on. It's very good against a Phoenix opening because Phoenix are not good against Zerglings early in the game, so that's going to be a nice way that Su will have a better time defending or denying a third base of the Protoss player here, as we are going to be seeing. And Phoenix being chased away over to the top side. Just going to be seeing a couple more drones dropping down there as well. The Phoenix going to be picking those drones off. +1 melee on the way up, getting that rolling. And again, Zerglings of Su down on the bottom as the Phoenix from Hero still running around the right side. 5 extra gates are going to complete shortly as we do see the Zerglings of Su down in the bottom bit of this. Another pylon on the way up. We're about halfway done. Phoenix are going to be able to pick away at a couple of drones here. Overlord taking some damage as well, and again, that's what the Phoenix are meant to do. Pick away at a couple of drones, slow down that economy. And Su's response to that is to just obviously drone and drone and drone. Hero's obviously stuck on these 2 bases, but is still making probes and a Forge as well. He wants to move to a 3rd base. He isn't looking to go for an Immortal Sentry push down the game at all. Su's actually just now adding on a Rotron, so if this was a bigger attack, he might have been in some trouble, but I get the feeling Su kind of already figured out it wasn't going to be a larger attack at all, and that he was in a pretty okay spot. Phoenix back across through the top towards the main. So I've been still running around a little bit as well in this center position, and again, Sentry Stalkers, Immortals gathering themselves up at the moment. The Phoenix still up in the skies, and Twilight Council is on the way down as well in that main base. We see the Zerglings, a couple of them will break through. That's nice for Su. Gets a good little scout into the main, and again, just being aggressive, just being annoying with those Zerglings at the front as well. So picking up a good little bit of information here as the Phoenix back over to the third base, and they'll find themselves a few extra drones to get rid of. 4 more workers cleaned out as the Twilight Council will finish up from Hero in the next couple of moments. War Prism, couple of Immortals up in the skies, and we do see Zerglings again having a bit of a run around here, try and see what will happen. 16 more Hydras in production. Groove Spine's on the way out. And again, the Zerglings trying to get in at the front, but not with too much success just yet. Extra few Hydras still going down here, so good few kills being made. Those Phoenix are back out over the right-hand side now as Zerglings still continuing to look around themselves, see what they can find. A couple of Immortals pressing forwards, and just going to force this up again. This Lingbane Hydra comp, we kind of saw it early. When you go into a melee upgrade early like that, it's going to be Lingbane, and 9 times out of 10 for ZVP, you generally play Lingbane Hydra. It's just that much more effective. Hero's response is going to be Colossus, at which point, if you figure it out as Su, you go in towards Corruptus to try and defend against it. So the problem is with Colossus that you can absolutely destroy a Lingbane Hydra army, but if you take the wrong fight and you're a little bit too out in the open and you get surrounded, your Colossus die and you just lose. So this really is very engagement focused, as is so much of CVP playstyle. So hey, that's a nice catch on an Observer, gets rid of the Immortals. Cleaning out Creep for the moment. I mean, an Observer right now as well, if you want to replace that, not only is it 75 gas, it's Robo Facility build time, which means that it's going to take a little while there. That's a nice scout time from Su. Sees the Colossus, instantly starts the Spire. Obviously, again, Corruptors will be the go-to at this point. Overseer just going to be continuing to move around, and just going to see the War Prison, couple of more, still trying to poke at the front. Phoenix coming back around down the left-hand side. Spire is setting up in the back of the main base. Yeah, that's actually quite a few of the Phoenix getting picked off. I mean, they're not an essential part of the army right now, but not great to just be losing them out in the middle of the map. The extra Banelings morphing in, and again, just still pushing up this side. So that's Colossus. Gonna try and hit the top right-hand side here, trying to hit Su. Few extra Zealots on the way out. Lingbane Hydra having to defend. I mean, it's just before Corruptors come in, so it's when these two Colossus still have a lot of effectiveness, and Su's kind of just stuck up here. Doesn't really have that much army. He's got so many minerals that he wants to spend on Corruptors. 11 Corruptors, but they are going to be pretty dead weight when the Colossus, you know, 2 Colossus go down as well. I mean, the damage over here is already pretty substantial. Just going to be seeing Hero still pressing forwards, and again, the drones up on the top side. Su's Corruptors are going to really be just a little late to this party, because again, by the time they come out, I mean, the damage is already done, and yeah, even if you kill these 2 Colossus, the Grand Army just doesn't exist any longer. So Hero is going to keep on pressing forwards. Corruptors continue to fly on in. And as 20 drones go down, I mean, these Corruptors just won't do the job, and Hero will put group leaders Triumphant Song Gaming 1 map away. Comes up, right? I mean, we're not really incorrect to say this is the hatchery of Su. Is it? Is that grammatically incorrect, rather than saying it's Su's hatchery? I actually don't know. my own English skills are failing me now. Fun question. Fill the gap. As we see in the top right-hand side, our blue Zerg player Su from Chivo has to win this to take us to an ace match. As in the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player from Triumphant Song Gaming. Give it up if you're cheering on Hero. Setting up into this game 6. Again, Hero wins this, and TSG continue their crusade through Group B of the competition. 5-1 against Black Knight, 4-2 against Psystorm. A win here would put them 3-0 top of the group, with Pixel 1 still giving chase. TSCG Pixel 1 matchup in Week 5 could be the decider of what's coming up at the end. Spawner pool coming up, and here's going to be a gas pool before the hatchery here, so Su will have a bit more of an aggressive opener. Cybercore dropping down, and here's Cybercore before the Nexus as well, so Hero here early does scout, he sees his gas pool, then the hatchery, so just making sure he has that Cybercore a little bit further, a little bit faster. Keen, the second speed. Just coming up here from Su, so getting that up and rolling as a few Zerglings just going to spread out a little bit and obviously hunt down. This is the probe they're looking for. He's the probe you want to chase. Da 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 da. Yeah, probe going to be chased away over to the right-hand side here, and Su's Zergling's just going to be continue to hunt that down as Zergling speed. Again, not really done just yet, so probe can continue to be a little bit annoying for a little while longer. What's up, Alas? How you doing? How am I today? I'm good, dude. I feel a lot better than I did yesterday. Had a bit of a... Yesterday was just a bit of a weird one. Link Flood, by the way, from Su. He's going to put it all on a bunch of Zerglings to try and save this for his team. Just going to see the Adept pressing forwards. More Zerglings on the way out, and we do see the Robo Facility of Hero. You know what? Now you've mentioned it, I'm really going to notice what's going on. You know what? It really is. It actually is just because I start talking about the Robo Facility, and then I just want some more moments to think about it. God, now you've got it in my mind, though. Hero's Robo Facility is finishing, so he'll get a Warp Prism on the way. That's not going to help him against the Link Flood, nor is this lack of a Wall-Off here. Sentry will help a bit, of course. Force Field available to help defend as the Lings... Oh my god, even drones! My god, what are we seeing? Su is really going to try and... he wants to open up this side. Right, so this is something we actually saw Nice being very cautious of. Patrolling a probe there to watch for that side being mined out. Su is going to mine this with these drones. Some of these drones need to be careful about where they're going. Needs to get back over here and, again, properly mine this out to get over here. And mining out a lot of these minerals means that he's going to be able to create a good little opening. And here we go. The Zerglings stream on in, and Hero is, oh my god, shading his Adepts out as Lings go into the main, and Su is going to catch Hero in a really tough spot here. This pylon is going to go down. The Robo Facility is going to be unpowered. Probe's already having to pull away. The sentries will be saved by the Warp Prism. Obviously, that's a nice pickup to save those units there for a moment. We'll go into Warp-In mode on top of the Robo here. We'll give it the power to get an Immortal going, but this is already 11, 13 workers down. More Lings are now picking away at the Natural, which doesn't have any units covering the wall off. A couple of Zards warping in there as well. 16 workers down so far. Hero has been brought down to the same worker count as Su, who will continue to chip his way through this. Are those drones still long distancing? No, drones, stop it, don't go back. That's actually a big mistake from Su, not getting his drones mining again, because it means he is missing out on quite a bit of mineral income. That would probably be the difference of having a bunch of extra Zerglings here. That could make the difference in this game. So going to be seeing a couple of probes back at the defense here, and honestly, it feels as though these drones were really, really bad not to be rallied back to their mineral line already. That's a lot of lost mining time that Su should have had, and that actually means he's essentially still down on economy despite the fact he just killed a bunch of probes. Looks as though Hero is probably going to be holding it. I mean, I feel like he's already held this off. He feels like he's really stabilized a bit. He's got Warpins still coming in, and the initial Zergling threat's really been dealt with, and he has good numbers of units remaining, and that's the big part of this, having enough units to continue fighting those Zerglings off. As we see the extra Zerglings of Su just going to be coming back around in towards the natural expansion. And again, Zards and Adepts is going to continue to fight away those Lingers. Su has not done enough in all said and done, and Hero absolutely has an army to go across the map to try and win the game right here and now. So here we go. Zards and Adepts coming across the way. Still Zerglings being aggressive over on this right-hand side, so we are going to be able to get rid of 1 and 2 Adepts there. I mean, those Lings definitely are annoying. The thing is, Hero does not want to turn around. He wants to continue going across the map. Zerglings are going to go and pull themselves on towards that pylon there. Another Adept and another Zealot warping in. And we still have our units continuing up here from here. We're going to be pushing in towards the natural expansion in a moment or two. Adepts go shading forward. Zerglings pressing down. Mortal going to get surrounded a little bit as the Zerglings... Hey, there's a lot of Zerglings, you know, but is it enough? I mean, Zealots and Adepts are very tanky in this sort of scenario. One Queen is not really going to be the best at pushing the Prism back, but Hero misses the lift up on the Immortal, and the Lings are still in the main base, and Hero is going to type GG. Wow, I did not think Su defended back at home there, but he does. Does Lings still out over Ragnarok? Let's do it. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Chivo, give it up for Su. As we do have in the top left-hand side our red Protoss from Triumphant Song Gaming. Hero. Okay, so game 7. And this is what it comes down to. Can Chivo, if Chivo win this, they actually go 2-1 in the group, while TSG will also be brought down to 2-1. So actually, it really puts Chivo into playoff contention. So we are going to be seeing the Overlord going across the map. Early startup will be slow. This is not a great map for Lingfloden. It's big, it's a long rush distance. The wall-off is very easily made here. This will have to be something a little bit longer out of Su this time around. Probe on the way up in the main base, as we are going to be seeing the Extractor, the Ghoul, coming in after the hatchery, and again, just a few minutes of build up here in China Team Championship. It's week 3, day 1. Again, just a little disclaimer, guys. Tomorrow I will not be here for the start of China Team Championship action. I will be joining the stream a little bit late. We will absolutely be live for StarCraft Sundays. I'm hoping to be live for the end of China Team Championship. It just kind of depends what happens. But just a little bit of a heads up, we will take the replays we missed and we will cast them at a little bit of a later point. Also StarCraft Sundays tomorrow and Marbles in the evening after StarCraft Sundays. That's the plan for tomorrow's stream. Hope to see you there as the Nexus drops down in the natural from Hero. The Lord of Su is going to fly overhead. Overlord flying around. There's a proxied Stargate from Hero, so he is going to change this up a little bit at the start of game number 7. He is going to get a little bit more aggressive here on Acropolis, and as Su pushes his Overlords into this higher ground, this Overlord up here, he's not going to see the lack of the Stargate in the main just yet, so again, this is absolutely potential for Hero to get a few drones in pretty early on. Su has not got any Zerglings on the map. He's only just now making 2. So pretty late Lings, and that means he's kind of late to start scouting around for these proxies as well if he wants to do that. As we continue to set this up, so Oracle will start a Chrono Boost out from Hero, getting that ready to go again. This Overlord from Su just hanging out overhead. So things out through the center, around the right-hand side. Oracle is continuing to Chrono Boost for the moment. That's going to be popping out in a minute or so. He's actually going to wait for a second Oracle because Su just has so little information. He hasn't seen the Stargate. He hasn't been in the main base. So Su is absolutely lacking info here at the moment, and that is why Hero will just Chrono Boost out Oracle number 2 before moving forwards. 2 Oracles obviously start one-shotting workers. I mean, 2 Oracles flying to this base. There's 1 Queen ready. This is 10 drone kills. You know, unless like Hero really messes up the control of the micro, and especially with a couple of Adepts coming around, it's going to pull a couple Queens towards this upper side. Now the Oracles are going to be seen by an Overlord, but again, a bit too late, and that Spore Crawler is a bit too late as well, but at least the Overlord saw this, so he is able to pull the drones a little bit in advance, so that is a bit of a helping hand. The other Queens coming in, and I'll see this a little bit earlier, is absolutely going to deny some of the drone kills that should have happened here. 6 workers down will go up, and that's going to be 2 more as well, so he gets 8. And that's with Su seeing it a little bit early. So like I said, that's at least 10 drone kills. It absolutely would have been if this Overlord wasn't over to this left-hand side. Third Oracle comes out, and now Su does know where that Stargate is, sends the Zerglings down to deny it. 3 Oracles joined together, and that could still be more drone kills here. 8 so far. More to be had. Let's find out. Oracles into the main base. And away they go. 1, 2, 3 drones already. Nope, not 3, because he actually split his damage a little bit there. Just the 2 more drones. It does get to 10 in the end. There's the Twilight, the Forge, and the Robo Facility all dropping down, so that combination of tech structures here will set Hero up quite nicely to move into the next stage of his game. 45 probes, so he's kind of ready to start thinking about taking it towards the third Nexus as well. With the Oracles on the map, he does have that added safety against Zerglings, which will try and deny a third Nexus. Looks like he wanted to try and expand on the low ground here. Usually you would just expand down here, choke points into the base, make it hard for Su to attack into there, rather than having to fight in this really open space. I know there's like a ramp and a choke here, but there's a lot more area for the Zerg to work with. Can even flank in from the right side. Interesting third base location from Hero. We'll see if that causes something to happen, as we are going to be seeing the Oracles moving over the right side. Lings come in, picking off the probe, pylon about to complete, Sentry and another Zealot about to finish wolfing in. And the Spire on the way out from Su in the natural expansions. Again, that Spire up and running. The Oracles here from Hero coming out around the side as well. We do see the Observer from Hero coming back down the bottom right-hand side. Oracles flying around too. Templar Archives. And a Gateway on the way up in this main base, as we still see the Revelation. Looks good for the moment. Oracles in towards the middle of the map here. As the Spire about halfway done from Su. Roach speed coming up on the Roach Roar, and Templar Archives about to complete. And again, these Zerglings flying around at the moment, or running around, seeing where they can get to. Oracles are going to be heading forwards. Zealots, Sentries, and Immortal all gathering up as we see the Storm going to be getting ready to roll. And again, Zerglings looking to see what they can do here. Hallucinated Phoenix pulling back a little bit, and a couple of Creep Tumors will drop down. Hero's going to be held off. His aggression forced to a later stage of the game, basically, as the Storm on the way up is absolutely going to be a critical upgrade here for Hero to fight against what is, at the moment, quite a heavy Ling count. Obviously expecting there to be some Banelings brought into this eventually. Now, Storm's also pretty okay against Mutalisk, which Su with the Spire is absolutely able to go into now. So it's going to help, but obviously you're going to have the Templars there to morph into Archons after you drop a couple Storms, and that's going to be some extra anti-air to really help out too, as Su will pull back the triple Oracle, looking around. And we'll see the Baneling Nest on our third base. I wonder if that's a sign that this is... Okay, he's actually already seen the Spire, so he does know about the potential Mutalisk threat and isn't going into a Stargate to defend it. The Spire is actually pretty good because of the Proxy Stargate early. With the Proxy Stargate early, obviously you have no Stargate left over, so if you do want to build Phoenix against it, you have to rebuild the Stargate. So it's a nice choice to build Spire because of that reason. These 2 Immortals, I really think that Hero actually didn't expect Mutas to actually still be made as they fly up here. I mean, yes, he invested into like a cannon here and there, but I really think like he just didn't really respect this. I mean, the fact that Warp Prism is still on the map is kind of crazy to me. Mutas are going to fly into an undefended main base. I mean, the Immortals in the main as well with that Warp Prism, but, well, Stalkers will warp in. Is he really just confident enough in the Stalkers to defend? I mean, I guess so, and it works out for the moment. Pushes it away. Meanwhile, these Zealots over here, well, the Mutas saw those coming in, so he's able to get the Roaches in position. Queen's doing a good job fighting. Transfusions were good, and that's 2 of the 3 Oracles taken down. Oracle's always nice to keep an eye on, of course, because if you can keep the Oracles alive, you get a lot of revelations and a lot of further information. So killing those off denies a lot of info that Hero would kind of like to have, actually. Poor Oracle here flies into the Mutalisks. All 3 Oracles down, and again, no Stargate to replace that either, so Hero loses a lot of information now as Su sets up into a very aggressive Ling Roach Ravager Baneling attack. Baneling speed not done yet, but I tell you what, this is mostly Stalkers been warping in lately. There are Storms available. Those Storms are going to be critical in this fight. If the Mutas can try and force out a Storm or 2 ahead of time here, that truly would be amazing. More Banelings morphing in, +1 melee not far from finishing. The Mutas go around the left, but the Stalkers are on their way back in there anyways. First Storm is incredible, actually hits a lot of Ling Bane. Next Storm on the Ravagers does pick off 1 High Templar before it gets its Storm off. There's a lot of units here from Su just hanging back, and it's a good first defense here from Hero. Has to warp in more High Templar now, though. Bane's Roaches, Ravagers back over to the side of Warp Prism in the center. Still has 1 High Templar, perhaps has a Storm left on it. Didn't see. Just going to be seeing Su is take a little bit more damage. Muta's taking some hits there, and we are going to see +2 attack finishing on the Forge. Robo Facility, 2 more gateways in production, +3 attack on the Forge as well, starting up. As here we go through the center of the map, Hero, Assault Stalkers, and Immortals. A couple Creep Tumors already taken down, as we are going to be seeing a bottom side hatchery building up there as well. 2 hatcheries on this bottom side building up, actually. As we will see the Mutas into the main. Immortal going to be Chrono Boosting now, 2 Immortals Chrono Boosting now, +3 attack on that Forge as well, as we are going to be seeing Stalkers, Immortals, High Templar as well, going to be setting up into this Hallucinated Phoenix down to the bottom, Warp Prism. High Templar's inside it as well, and just going to be seeing Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Trying to set up a little bit further here, so continue to set up. We're going to see this army from Su back over the right-hand side. Hallucinated Phoenix is going over to the left, and well, Su is obviously maxed out, and his next stage of this is going to be hitting that Greater Spire, so getting that Greater Spire up and running. And this is going to be his next point of contact, as Broodlords will really be the one thing that helps this army really get to the next stage. So heading towards the Broodlords here. Assault Immortals, High Templar and Stalkers pressing forwards into the center of the map. Here we go, a couple High Templar picked off. A lot of those Banes damaged, but actually misses the Storm on a lot of the low health Banelings. He hits on the Zealots and High Templar there. There's a lot more Storms available, picking off a couple of them already. It's obviously a big start to this from Su, who is absolutely on the defensive. First 4 Corruptors coming in. We are not far from seeing a few Broodlords joining the fray, but he will have to lose a bit more supply first. Banelings into this mineral line, hits and kills 8 probes. Greater Spire still not done. Spine Crawlers to help this position, but this ramp and this little choke point is obviously not going to be nice and easy to defend, but coming in from 2 angles could be the way for Su to fight against this here, as Spine's still firing. Spine's still firing again. Good Storms down on those Ravagers and Banelings. Doing a very good job of this here, as we are going to be seeing Immortal Stalkers and High Templar. I mean, this base probably goes down. How does Hero get out of here? Does he recall out, or does he find a way to fight this? Great Storms again, and the attack from the top side is a little bit late to arrive from Su, honestly. 4 Broodlords are morphing in. Are 4 Broodlords enough to turn this around? There isn't too much anti-air here. Corrosive Files dropping down onto the Immortals. Beveling Vein will disengage once more. Hero finishes +3 attack during this fight. And there are the Broodlings starting to drop down, and Hero, though, he's made space for himself to escape away up the top side. Obviously, the Broods are pretty slow, so the Lings and so on that do chase pretty quickly. I mean, they can be dealt with by the army turning around and fighting for a little bit. Job well done right there. As we're going to see Lings, Mutas, Roaches, and Banes continuing to gather together, and, well, going to be seeing Hero still setting up through the top side. This army coming along, and Zergling's going to be running forwards. Immortal's already taking a little bit of damage again. And again, this army of Hero moving around. To the left-hand side, a lot of Zerglings from Su. I'm going to send one of them over to the far left there, and Blink on the way up, +1 ground armor being Chrono Boosted as well. So Chrono Boosted on both these upgrades. There's that Zergling getting picked off also, and again, just the Zealot taking the Watchtower for a moment here as Lings, Banes, Roaches, and Ravagers heading up to the top side. Billings already getting picked away at there, as we do see the Lings just running back away down to the bottom. The rest of the units coming across as well. High Templars have the Storms available. Su is struggling to find the fights though, as, oh, that's nice. He blows up one of the High Templar, the other 2 but coming in Archon at the last second. And obviously forcing that instead of getting stormed is always great. It's just the Immortal count here. The Stalkers as well are so good. How many Broods are we at? 7. Just doesn't feel amazing, does it, for Su? It doesn't really feel like enough to make too much of a difference. Hatchery will be killed. On the bottom side, up on the top, the Stalkers moving around as well, and Overseer from Su hanging out in the main base. We do see again Lings, Banes, Roaches, and Ravagers. You see where they want to run in from. More Banelings here from Su running out, and Zerglings are going to go streaming forwards actually, and well, again, there's not as many Storms available as before. The Banelings trying to crash into the Stalkers here, and well, this is kind of the big fight, but without the Broodlords, I mean, these Banes are just going to run out of numbers. The Stalkers have continued to back away. I mean, Su killed a decent amount, but overall, look at that resources lost, 20k to 14.5. I mean, Hero is just trading so much better at the moment, and the one thing that Su has on his side is that Hero is only on a 4 base economy, right? So the income has been pretty Su favored, which helps him out with those trades, but he needs to keep that up. He needs to keep denying Hero down to just those 4 bases. Well, obviously staying up at 5 base himself, and maybe even going beyond there. Lingus, Roaches, Ravagers still up to the top side. A couple more Void Rays on the way in. We're going to be seeing 42 more Zerglings on the way out. Into the main base, Zealots will start dropping in. 7 more Warping in. The Queen trying to target down the Warp Prism. Quite a lot of Zealots here, actually, and Warp Prism will die, I think. Smoke Crawler gets the extra shot off that's needed. The Zealots are still causing issues. The Broodlord's fighting over here, and actually that's a fight Hero doesn't really want to take. Hey, Su's at this point now where he's got, what, 12 Broodlords and pushing up. If he could reach a base with those Broodlords, they can get a lot done. Having cleaned out this Warp Prism, it means that he's got no fear of a counterattack in the main for a moment. There is going to be another Warp Prism coming over to the right-hand side. Stalker's inside of it, just to see what's going to happen. Ling is going to go for the Stalkers, and well, as the Broodlords, they've made their way to the 4th base, and I'm not convinced Hero has enough to fight this. 2 Void Rays, 2 more in production. That's literally his answer to this, and a couple of Storms obviously to go along with it. Here you go. The Broodlords are going to see these Voids and realize, oh, I actually don't have any anti-S. So the Voids are going to do a pretty good job right away. And it's going to be enough to scare Su away. Corrosive Power is going to try and turn the Void Rays around, but they miss. That's 4 Broodlords already down. Corruptors from Su are a bit slow to start up, and this is actually going to be what saves him. A couple of Queens showed up as well as they get to the edge of the creep spread here. And Hero will hold on because of the Void Rays he just built. There was just no Corruptors in play at all, and that's going to buy Hero the time to get in towards a Fleet Beacon now and hit an even later stage of this PvZ. And Zerglings around over to the left. We're going to see the Watchtower taken there for a moment or two as well. Again, the Lingbane Roach Ravager heads up to the top as Zerglings are able to find themselves away on towards this Nexus here on the left-hand side. Hey, this is nice, actually. This army just out of position. The straight-up Zergling attack will do a lot here. 16 probes down. High Templars getting Corrosive Bard alongside Immortals in the center of that army. A couple of Zards make their way over here. The Broodlords to defend. Both players trading out stages of economy. Once again, 20 worker lead currently for Su. Mothership on the way from Hero, so that's what the Fleet Beacon's for, getting that Mothership up and running as Su still has money to spend. And he's starting to spend it. He's just playing so many Zerglings that he's struggling on lava a bit. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see some more Corruptors coming into play, honestly. Especially with that Void Ray count building up a little bit now. I mean, he did morph his current Corruptors into Broods. He has 6 left over. Feels like he needs a few more than 6 Corruptors, though. He is getting a couple of Vipers as well as Ling run by to the top left. He's really eager to deny this space. He's already got the shields off of it. So looking to try and capitalize on that while he can. Those other 2 armies are disengaged from each other at the moment. Again, the Lings with the +3 melee do a lot of damage, and those Zealots do not really stand a chance with only +1 armor. Again, the High Templar here as well, looking to storm the Zerglings that might arrive on this base. More Lings around the bottom left, 8 more Corruptors building, and 2 more Broodlords on the way out. Continue to set this up as we do see the army of Hero heading out over the right-hand side. Zerglings doing a little bit more damage there, but still not finding their way onto that Nexus. It's a fun little stalemate that Su has over there, though. He's forcing Hero to keep a good chunk of army in that position. You'll see this army moving around now. The Lings are they really going to go for this? I mean, there's a Storm, there's an Archon. They are going to go up here. I mean, they're going to find their way maybe in towards the natural expansion. Last minute Zealot warping. Heroes on the offensive again. Both players maxed out. 7 Infestors building from Su, though. They're not going to be super effective immediately. We do not have a Pathogen Gland upgrade. So without that, you're struggling a little bit here. As Su for those Infestors to really be super effective immediately. Obviously, once they get Fungals, they become that much stronger. Army of Hero back down to the bottom. We're going to see 22 more Lings, 2 more Infestors building again. This army jumping in towards this hatchery, so Hatch taking quite some damage. Dark Shrine building up from Hero as well, and now dropping down another Stargate in a moment or two as we see the Archon continue to push this Overlord away. So this base in the bottom denied, and that does put Su in a bit of a tough scenario where he is starting to mine out these external bases. And Hero has set up the 5th base himself. And remember, we talked earlier about the efficiency difference. Su needs to keep on mining more than Hero in this game if he wants to keep trading like this. So we're kind of at that point where Su needs this extra base. These few Stalkers really just trading as best they can, blinking their way into that corner there, choking themselves up as much as possible. Another Ravager gets targeted down as well, and just still seeing the Void Ray fleet up in the sky as the mothership as well. Su continuing down to the bottom side there, as we're going to see 7 more Overseers, 20 more Zerglings on the way out, and we're going to see a good Fungal Growth landing on the Void Rays. Oh, a bunch of feedbacks hitting on the Infestors. There's not really much more of a follow-up from there. Su just lost a lot as Hero dances around in the top corner. Zealots are going to get a lot of drones, and suddenly this game gets a bit out of control in favor of Hero. I mean, drones and a base would be amazing, but even just the drones he's killed already is really fantastic for Hero. That is putting Su in a really tough position economy-wise, and Hero is the player with a bank, ready to rebuild and ready to keep on applying pressure. And again, having feedback those Infestors, they are not really part of the next fight, so this bottom side base cannot be defended, and Hero is pushing Su into a losing position. Hero, great couple of moments from him. He's really been able to hold off during the times he couldn't really fight the Broodlord army, and bought himself a lot of time to improve his position. A Ling Roach counterattack here, going to be countered by the recall. Baneling just getting to the mineral line, a few probes going down, but again, it's Hero already having a 2k bank. That makes a big difference, and he's got the bottom left base starting to set up as well, and Su is on a mine at 3rd, natural, and main. This 4th base has 1 gas missing. It is on its way to mining out. There are 4 mineral patches Su is mining from. That isn't long distance in this game right now, and he has just been withered down that little bit too much, and Hero kind of knows it. Building carriers, and there is not a proper response to carriers in this game right now, in any way, shape, or form. And carriers are going to be the units that really Su has no answer to. Su has this one army, but even that one army doesn't look great as Ling's counterattacking up the top. I mean, that's absolutely the kind of plays you have to make here. Hero has just spent a lot of minerals, invest into other bits and pieces, so tonight this base is great and all, but I mean, then DTs get warped in. There's no detection here. Overseer finally flies in. 7 probes killed, but no base kill. And I mean, the Void Rays are looking to cut off this army as well. They'll get the Overseer. Even replacing Overseers is expensive right now. Su has 7 of them left, so I mean, it's not an issue yet, but it will become one if you let it. And the stacked defense wall on this bottom left-hand side is going to put Hero in a point where, can you deny this base any longer as Su? Not really. It's going to cost too much. It's going to cost way too much. These guys have given us the game of the day in the ace match. Absolutely has been the series to watch today. If you guys are just tuning in, you're catching the tail end of what has been a pretty awesome set of games, honestly. This is our last map of StarCraft for the day, as Su's going to pause. As that's going to be him saying Jamsi. Don't know what Jamsi means, but, you know. Crank is not going to translate for us. Question mark says Doll, admin. What do you guys reckon Jamsi means? He needs a moment. Ah, maybe Jamsi means like a second. Go cold, and it looks as though we can resume. Actually, I feel like I might have known what Jamsi meant. Now that I've seen it said, or seen what it might mean. A moment. I feel like I see people say that in the lobby chat sometimes, like a moment before they go into the next game. Maybe I'm just making it up. Maybe it's like confirmation bias. I think I know what it means, so now I'm like, oh, maybe. Ling's going to pick off the Stalker there, and a couple more carriers are on the way out from Hero in the top side. Immortals and an Archon up on the top as well. A few Zerglings moving around, and again, this army of Hero just gathering up in the center. More carriers continue to be produced at the moment, and just going to be seeing this army of Hero still pressing out into the center of the map. A few changes moving around as well from Su, and seeing what he can get up to. Infestors, Corruptors, Broodlords setting up as well on that bottom side of the map here, and Hero is still going to have to fight that army. Another carrier on the way out, and Noble Bay dropping down from Hero as well. That's interesting. I mean, I guess a couple of Disruptors to try and push Infestors back. Hero's obviously very afraid of pushing into those Infestors, and that's why he's really been very cautious and very careful about this at the moment. And though, as it stands, Hero is absolutely the player who can take a fight and rebuild. Su has got this bottom side base up and running, But at the cost of Hero still mining from the top, still mining from the left. And that really is the problem. 45 to 37 workers, and Hero with a bank to play with already. Plus 2 shield weapons, plus 2 air weapons. Shield weapons, plus 2 shields, plus 2 air weapons. Continuing to improve this air army as we're going to be seeing the couple of units as continue to move around. And army just continue to move. Border is going to get caught in a little bit of a fungal growth as we do see Infested Terrans dropping down. Broodlings are firing, and oh, that's going to be a recall. That's not the fight that Hero wanted to take, as the Immortals and Archons do deny this right side yet again. Recalled over to the left there. The parasitic bombs were good. A lot of splash damage. You can see the air army from Hero took some damage there. Try and invest into a few extra Tempests to try and make this work once again. And resources lost is still that 6k difference. Su is still able to drag this game out that little bit further. Clean up these Immortals. We're at the stage of the game where Immortals just aren't anything great apart from just base killers, so sacrificing these opens up supply for Disruptors, more air units. Units that are going to do a lot more against this composition that Su now finds himself on. 26 minutes into Acropolis. Pressing up to the top side, our Broodlings are going to start firing away. Pylon's taking quite a bit of damage. Brutal Facility taking some shots. That's going to be a denial on the Disruptor. Oh, okay, Disruptor does just get off, but it does kill the next Disruptor. This is kind of dangerous, but now the Tempest coming into play and firing from a distance. That Oracle Revelation, big for giving the Tempest the vision they need to make the most of that. Again, it's nice to pick off this base and all, but this isn't exactly the base you were mining from anyways, so it's not like Hero is super upset about this. Losing this base would be a bit more substantial. Hero's picking off a lot of Broodlords in this, and Su is so broke, and replacing Broodlords is just so difficult for him at the moment, and you can just see he has no money at all, while Hero is still just rebuilding quite comfortably here, and his army's getting better. The upgrades that we just talked about moments ago are now finishing. Army still coming around down the left-hand side. Still got an army moving around a little bit. Infestors, Broodlords, Corruptors. Up in the skies as well. Going to be seen on the right side a few Zealots from Hero wandering forwards, and Zerglings will be able to get a surround on that, so the Zealots getting picked up pretty quickly. Nexus in the bottom left-hand corner. 4 more Infestors, 5 more Infestors on the way out. Corruptor, Infestor. Really, I mean, it's just going into mass Infestor here. Su able to hold this on. Hold on to this. Zergling's going to hit this Nexus bottom left-hand side. Again, Tempest, Void Raiders, Mothership on the way over. Going to see that Nexus does get cancelled here, and we're just going to be seeing the bases continue to come up at the moment. Infestors and Broods still being brought into play. Hero setting up on the bottom side, and, well, Hero still mining off these bases that Su desperately misses at the moment. I mean, top right, if Su could get back up there, for the moment he'll probably defend the bottom, mine out here, and then try and mine out the top right. He's killing 10 more probes, so Hero is really kept in a bit of a stalemate once again. He's not allowed to build up too much of a bank. Resources lost has closed a little bit towards 4,000 now rather than 6k. The last couple of fights from the Zerg have been pretty good. Disruptor to try and clean up some of the stack defense. Again, that was an investment Hero made not long ago to start bringing Disruptors into play, but he did lose their 2 Robo Facilities, so only has 1 left to build more Disruptors with. His folks around, more Corruptors and Lings on the way out, and, well, Lings getting it surrounded as Roaches and Ravagers will clean up those Zealots. Tempest again going to find themselves a Spore Crawler, make that 2. Top side, Lings and Ravagers trying to run up as well. No real avail just yet there. Spore Crawler is able to grab one of the Oracles too. Job well done again as we see Lings and Roaches picking off more of these Zealots. Pylon and this Nexus going to be in trouble here. I mean, the constant attacks to the top is denying a base that Hero really has gotten a lot out of already, though. I mean, there's only 400 gas left on this base, so it's not like it's a huge loss for Hero. It's nice for Su to deny it, don't get me wrong, but denying that base a lot earlier like he tried to do would have been that much more effective, as our army here from Hero backs away over to the left side, and Corruptors and Broodlords in trouble again. I mean, it really is. Su losing a lot here to these Tempests. Over time, these Tempests are finding insane value. Pick up the Spore Crawler there. He's in range of these Infestors, and he has the Revelation on them. You can see that's the scary part, the potential Infested Terrans coming out. Another Broodlord targeted down. Again, Su can't really afford to replace these Broodlords, and he kind of really needs to just commit into a fight, I think. Oh my god, Disruptors on the Infestors! Big connection on the top side! Su just drops 20 supply, and that might be the start. That hero needs to really take a fight here. Storm's dropping down on the Corruptors. He will back away, just playing it safe. Obviously, if you can avoid taking some damage, you may as well avoid taking it. Hero loses a lot, but again, the money in his bank is ridiculous. 2k, he can rebuild, and Su absolutely broke right now. 43 gas to his name. Su is in so much trouble, guys, as we're going to be seeing this army of Hero back out onto the map once again. Su with Corruptors and Oracle in range. He's able to pick that off at least before Revelation comes down as well, so again denies some of that Tempest range. More Void Rays being made, realizing the biggest threat right now is Corruptors. The Void Rays are kind of the counter to those Corruptors alongside the Storms, so rebuilding Void Rays, don't mind that, like that decision. Again, Hero just has bases that Su doesn't, and Su just doesn't have what he needs here. Again, resources loss is reopened to now, what, a 7k difference? It's an amazing fight for Hero. A really amazing fight, and, well, again, it's still scary for him to try and take the rest of these engagements, but he's absolutely the one that can take the fights, rebuild from it, and put himself into a winning spot here. Ling's around the top, gonna see no Nexus. I mean, yeah, nice to keep that denied and so on, but again, it's this bottom left side, and you're not gonna get to the bottom left-hand side because Hero is over here defending. I'm almost surprised Su didn't try to take this base again, because Hero's been very lackluster at having anything else on the map recently. We're kind of past the point where he has Immortals, Archons, and so on to throw around the map, denying bases, so I am somewhat surprised Su didn't re-establish this base up here. Tempest now have that Revelation back in place, so they'll start chipping away at this army once again. Another Broodlord shot at the sky. Every Broodlord that falls here is just a little bit less to really fight, and I mean, those Infestors are revelated as well. Feels as though Su has to go for the one final fight here, as Hero looks as though he's going to keep TSG Triumphant Zone Gaming at the top of this group. The win would improve their score to 3-0. So we are going to be seeing the Corruptors flying around once again. Lings, Roaches, or Ravager continuing around, and well, yeah, that's the issue of running by this base. Even if you get there, so many cannons, what are you meant to do? Hero's going to back away again just for a couple of moments. He's getting a bit of surround pylon, shield battery, Robo Bay, all starting to fall as we do see down the bottom Carriers, Tempest, and Void Rays set up as well. A bunch of High Templars have Storms available. Plus 3 air weapons on the Cybernetics Corns. Again, a few extra Infestors on the way out. Ling's still cleaning up. I think it's a base that Hero doesn't care about those. That's a nice fungal growth though. Storms dropping down, deny the Infested Terrans. The Tempest firing from a distance. Here we go. There's still more Storms to be had here. Another fungal growth drops. Man, Storms and feedbacks on the Infestors picking away at those numbers again. There's just no rebuild potential here from Su. He doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the economy. Time Warps will drop down to help out a little bit. Storms on the Infestors on the top side are actually doing quite well. Infested Terrans still trying to chase down here as the Corruptors will come in for whatever they can. The Storms, though, are still devastating. And I'm just saying Storms, 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 because they really are what is continuing to pick away this army. Hero again just rebuilds instantly into 5 more High Templars. Su's supply now brought down to 115. And this, my friends, is a done deal. Su is going to be signing out of this game and this series for Chivo in the near future, because it's only going to be 1 or 2 more fights like that where Su will literally have nothing left afterwards. Once Su has absolutely nothing left, I mean, there's just nothing more you can do. You can't hold bases, you can't stay in the game. And that's where we're at right now, is going to see, well, there's 2 Corruptors already being blown out the sky again. Those Tempests are just picking up so much damage from a distance. And this really is just the tale of Su was playing this game from behind. He's done a great job holding on, a great job surviving, but that's all he's been able to do, because anything beyond surviving is just going to take too much army that he doesn't actually have. As well, there's a great fungal growth on the Carriers, but it's too little too late. The Corruptors disappear, melted by the Void Rays. Hero takes game 7, takes the